This podcast is meant for general health information and is not meant to override any medical advice. All questions will be screened and not contain any personal information. If you want a private consultation, contact us via positivechoice.org or you can contact your provider directly. Thank you and enjoy the episode. Hello and welcome to the Positive Choice Wellness Podcast. I'm Anneliese, an exercise physiologist and nutritionist.
And my name's Melanie. I'm also an exercise physiologist and nutritionist.
And we have a very special guest with us today, our very own Norma Soloman. She is our fitness guru, our yoga master. A little bit about Norma. She has been with us for 22 years. We got fans in the house. Yeah. And she is best known right now for her very successful online classes on our YouTube channel, Simple Yoga and Senior Strength. Welcome, Norma.
Why, thank you. Thank you for having me here today.
Well, we are so excited to talk to you because you are going to tell us all about being fit over 50.
Correct. Absolutely.
And I know from us talking that you have quite the kind of like personal story that brought you to all of this.
I do.
Well, tell us about it.
All right. Well, back in the day, 84, that was a long time ago, I was diagnosed with a herniated disc. And I got it just by doing some heavy lifting and twisting and probably the wrong way and this and that. Anyway, I was given choice of surgery or to stay down, lay down, and don't do anything. So I don't really care for surgeries. I was young, so I decided I'll just stay put. I'll stay down, and I was very good about it. That lasted for about 9 months. It was very, very, very painful, very painful. But I was working at a gym at that time as well, and I had to lay off everything. All my fitness stopped completely. And one of the supervisors at the gym, she called me back, and she said, I need you to come back now. I need you to just get on the bike, and I want you to start slow. So I did hesitantly because I was still hurting. I was still very, very weak and fragile and just not sure if I could even do this anymore. And but I just kept it up. And then one day I was kind of pushed into doing stretching and yoga. And I didn't know anything about it, so I went and I learned, but I noticed that it made my body feel really good. Really, really good. Better than I've ever felt before, especially at my weak state. So I stayed with yoga, and the rest is history. No more back pain, although people with back pain, I never say when you had it once and now it's all better that you won't get it again. Never say never, because it will only take one small little move and you'll throw your back out again. So what I tell everybody is, after any kind of injury, you kind of have to be very careful with it in that area. So, but yes, so I do yoga, and then I got back into strength training and water, aqua aerobics. And so my routine changed just a little bit, but it didn't stop after I got better.
So how long did it take you to start feeling better once you got back to moving?
Honestly, from the time I heard it, it was probably about 5 to 8 years, believe it or not, because I kept having setbacks and I kept having spasms, but I just kept working through that. So for people to think that it goes away in a snap, it doesn't. But you have to be patient with yourself, with your body, and give it the time it needs to heal, but also keep encouraging it to stay strong. So you've got to keep moving in whatever ability you can, and in the safe way that you can. And that's how you get through it. And now, I mean, it's probably been, I don't know, maybe 20 some years without any problem at all. I'm keeping my fingers crossed, but yeah.
So I guess like the question I was thinking is, when you were getting back into it though, so you just kind of sort of eased back into your normal routine, or were you changing it up a little bit to modify for your back? Like, how did you go about that?
That's a good question. So immediately I had to change my routine. I could no longer do the running and the jumping because that's not good for your back. And so my high impact aerobic had to change, had to stop. I no longer did that. I went into low impact aerobic, which was keeping one foot down all the time, which was new to me, but it's like, hey, okay, I can still do this without hurting. So there are things, and the funny thing is too, is they told me vacuuming is one of the hardest things on your back. And they showed me how to vacuum with the vacuum cleaner, kind of like more of a dance move. And to this day, I keep that in my head when I'm doing it. 1 foot forward, 1 foot back, so that you're going with it instead of reaching forward and your back is at an angle. It's like, okay, that's not good. Washing your car. So there's a lot of things that I keep in my head. And so when you're saying, ease back into it, yes, I had to change some things for good, and don't look back. It's okay, because there's way better things to do as well.
And so now you bring that perspective into working with your many clients.
Yeah.
And I think that, Melanie and I have talked about this, and you and I have talked about this. One of the biggest things we hear with patients coming in is either I am injured, I have chronic pain, I can't exercise, or they have been told somewhere along the way that once you hit 50 or 60,
I'm too old.
Right.
Yeah, you can't put on muscle anymore. You can't make progress anymore. How do you address those?
Well, first of all, I tell them this is the time where we have to get back into some kind of physical activity, whatever it is that your body is able to do. But strength training in whatever amount you can do. Some people, I can't lift a heavy weight. It doesn't have to be heavy. It could be the can of the size of a tomato can. It could just be your own body weight, that people don't think that, like, oh, I can use my body weight in a squat. I can do that in a lunge or a push-up. Absolutely. So there's a lot of ways to get into it, but definitely the most important, I think, is the strength training for the older adults. We need it. We are now more prone to osteoporosis. Some people's cholesterol levels go up, so some of the diseases, high blood pressure, it's like some of the best things for that is just to exercise. I mean, easy, just to exercise, starts changing all of that. So this is the time for us to either continue or now move into it. And it's okay. Everyone can start at some point. It's not like I've never done it before, I can't. Yes, you can. And we'll start slowly.
So something interesting, I was teaching a class, and I showed my class a video of Sophie actually doing her yoga routine, and one gentleman was like, she's a pretzel, oh, I can't do that. And you say you do yoga for seniors, and I personally know your class, but I don't know if everyone listening does. So what would you say about it that is different, I guess, than your traditional yoga class that could apply to seniors? Is it different? Is there something that you're modifying to accommodate that?
It is different in that we use a prop, and our prop is the chair, because not everybody can get down on the floor comfortably. Some people can get down, but they can't get back up comfortably. So you have the chair to just make it easier for you. And in my simple yoga class, the poses that I do are all just modifications of the real poses. There's some obviously that we're not going to get into, but even in the chair, being as, oh my God, I've been teaching this for 21 years or so. Because people have followed me for so long in my classes and such, you have to challenge them. And they get better and they get better. So I'm just like, yeah, on the chair we can actually look like a little pretzel because they built themselves up to that. And they're pretty amazed too, going, wow, I did it this time. So it really is kind of fun to watch that growth. Even on a chair, you can still do some pretty great things.
Yeah, and a lot of us, lack flexibility in general. So, I mean, you can get into some pretty great deep stretches for anyone of any age in a chair.
Exactly. Yeah. But the thing is, it may not come right away, but being consistent and staying with it, you're going to find your way into that. Your muscles are going to be relaxed a little bit more, and you're going to find that, wow, I was never, ever able to touch my toes, and look at me now, or get my arms straight. I hear that a lot, arms over your head. I see a lot of people with bent elbows, and, as we move along in our practices, their arms are straight, and even they're going like, wow, I remember when I couldn't do this. So, yeah, it's really nice to see that as you make that commitment, how you progress, further and further into your flexibility and your strength. And it feels good. Yeah.
And you said the key word right there, which is consistency.
Yeah.
And I think that that's a really important idea for people to lean into, especially if you are stuck in a pattern of like, well, I can't move, or, I'm having pain, because when you're unfit and you start moving, it's not comfortable.
Right.
But it will become more comfortable over time.
It will. And you've got to give your body, like I said, you got to be patient with your body. And only you know your body, but it's amazing what it can do when you take care of it, and you're good to it. You don't abuse it. Some people want to exercise, so they get into it headstrong, which is the wrong way to do it. Because your body wasn't used to that to begin with. So you've always got to start out slowly, focus, safety first, and of course, always checking with your doctor to make sure that, yes, I can exercise, or, and reason I say that is because some people in my class, they have eye issues and eye diseases that I sometimes don't know. So, just like bringing our head down if we're doing some seated inversions, I always have to say, if your doctor has told you not to lower your head, this is the time where you don't lower your head. So, when I say that about make sure it's okay with the doctor, there's some things that you can't do. Maybe shoulder injuries. They don't want you to overextend. So we bring our arms down and we stay there. But you have to be in good terms with your doctor, good touch with them to know what can I do and what should I stay away from. And then that helps the instructor as well when you are doing exercises. And that's something that I always ask, is there anything going on that I need to know about? So it's always, whatever class anybody takes, always let the instructor know.
I think that's actually pretty important, because I get that a lot. I had told a story last week about a woman who had knee pain, and I told everyone before we started, don't do squats if your knees hurt. And then she did a squat, stared me direct in the eyes, and said, my knees hurt. I was like, okay. But the question I was really unrelated to that. The question I was going to ask was, how old, is the oldest person who takes your class? Because I think when people think like, oh, older adults, I think we're thinking 60s, 70s, 80s maybe. But like, how old is truly the oldest person who's taking your class?
The oldest one I've had is 91.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. 91, 87, 88, 78. They're up there and they're doing it. I had a 30-some-year-old with fibromyalgia who did my simple yoga because the regular yoga class was just too much for her. So, but she didn't want to stop moving. So I invited her, come try this one. She thought it might be a little bit too easy. But even she felt some, she felt her muscles a little bit sore even after that one. But again, she's got the fibromyalgia.
Yeah, but I feel like you're also insinuating that your classes aren't necessarily geared towards people over the age of 50, which is a good thing, right? Like, you want to have everyone is able to do it, of all ages, all types, all abilities and so on. And I think that's kind of special in a sense because, I think we do look at those classes who have older adults in them and go, ooh, I'm not taking that because I'm not that old, and then we don't want to. But we might be of that ability, and that would be perfect for us. But it's just that, but they're older, and I don't want to be the only young one in the simple yoga class,
I've come across that in my years of teaching when somebody new comes to my yoga class, simple yoga class, and as soon as they see the people that are in that class, the age group, and as soon as they see us pull out the chair, they're like, they want to run for the door, and they're like, I'm in the wrong class. I didn't know we were going to use a chair. And I go, well, why don't you just stay? You're here already. So just stay, do the class with us, and then whatever you decide after. Nobody has ever left. Everybody has stayed. And that's happened several times. So again, it just goes to show, don't judge the book by its cover, right? Just, you don't realize how much that body needs to move and stretch. And even on a chair, so what? You're still lifting, you're still reaching, you're still bending, So the body just craves all that. And for anybody who's older, now I say older because I'm 62. I don't feel 62. I'm sorry.
You don't look it either. I mean, let's be honest.
Oh, gosh, thank you. I have been exercising for most of my life. And 39 years to be exact, because I had just had my son who's 40, and then that 1 year being off because of my back. But I have been consistent for 39 years, changing it up, doing different things. And here I am at that age where I'm talking about fitness, for people over 50. Well, okay, I'm 62, and yet there's still people coming in their 70s and their 80s and their 90s. And good for them. I'm so proud of them, And I look at you two, who are the two little young birds here, and I'm like, you got a long way to go, but you can by just continuing to move and exercise. And there's so much different activities, even sports. I mean, I know there's a lot of the older people now that are golfing, playing tennis.
There's a big pickleball court near where we live, and it's like I live down the street, and I can hear it go clack, like that constantly.
And see, that gets them out. That's movement. That gets them out of bed. That gets them talking to other people. All that socialization and movement, and they have to pick up the ball, so you got to bend down and come up. And when I see that, more than ever, I'm like, good on you for, taking that time for yourself and wanting to get out there and still move instead of sitting on a chair, sitting on a couch, watching TV, and being sad, grumpy, depressed. I've seen it. So, gosh, my whole thing is just get out and move and be with people, at whatever level you can. You don't have to be 50, 60, 70 and feel that, I have people in my classes that have Parkinson's and the tremor in the hands, pretty severe, and still can hold the weight, still can hold a yoga pose, but he didn't let that stop him. Okay? And that's pretty cool because you usually don't get men in your exercise class. But he came with his wife, and he loves it. I've had people with fibromyalgia, and I now have somebody with a female with Parkinson's, and it's something very, very difficult for her to handle because she's been active all her life. But I said, don't worry. Let's get back into this, and we'll get you in there comfortably and slowly and safely. And she's still coming.
I love that so much. Because I really think that is the fundamental pleasure that we get out of doing what we do.
Yeah.
Which is showing people that you might think you're limited, but we can work beyond that.
Right. Absolutely. You should never say, no, I can't do that. Another client of mine with spina bifida. She just said, I've had it all my life since birth, and I just want to be strong. I just want to feel strong again. So I said, come on in. Let's see what we can do with you. And we started out with upper body because of course the lower body was a little bit more compromised, and then went on from there. She did fantastic. She's been with me for 11 years and got her on the Bosu. She did her vacations, got on the inner tubes, got on a boat. And this is somebody who typically you would not see doing any of that, especially in her age, 50, 60, So that's kind of cool to me, is if your legs hurt, let's work the upper body. If your shoulders hurt, okay, let's work the legs. But we can always do something. So.
Yeah, and it's an interesting point too, because because you know this, I work with a lot of older patients as well. It's a normal thing. Thank you, Norma. And your fault. She gives me the appointments and I take them. But the main thing is, when we're working with people over the age of 50, and it's usually not even 50, it's usually when you get up into the 70s or 80s is where you start to see the changes. But is there anything in particular you do that's different, let's say in the form of strength training, for example, versus like if it's a 30-year-old? Is there anything you tweak, little things?
First of all, the amount of weight.
Okay.
You always got to check with that first, especially if they're new to it or maybe they've done it before and have been off of it for like 10 years or something. I'm still going to go lightweight. I'm going to check out their positioning. I'm going to check out how they're able to handle the exercise. So I'm going to go lightweight always. And then just ask them, okay, how does that feel? How does this feel? How does that squat feel? How did this lunge do? Or, a little shaky on the lunge. Okay, let's take that chair and let's use it as a prop. So lots of things you can do while they're building up that strength, but it's not stopping them from doing it.
So what would be, so let's say our listeners are like, cool, I'm in. I haven't been moving. I'm convinced I'm going to move. What would be some things that you would tell them how to get started, what to focus on?
First of all, check with your doctor. Make sure he's like, yep, you're good to go. Absolutely. And then what I do is, yes, people want to get strong right away. So it's like, okay, I've got to do the strength. My doctor says I got to start lifting some weights because of osteoporosis and, bone health and this. And I go, okay, but do you ever get out there and just go walking? Do you ever get out and just, or do you have a bike or a treadmill or anything? And one of the things that I tell them is the cardiovascular is first and foremost because of your heart. You don't have your heart, you're just not here. So it's like, take care of that big muscle. So what I suggest is doing the cardio every day. If you can think of it, get out of bed, get on your treadmill, get on your bike, go for a swim, although it's getting to that ending time of the swimming. But again, I teach that water class, so I tell people put on tennis shoes and get in the water and walk. You could do that too. If you're having back problems or something, water is pretty cool for you. So get out there and do some cardio, probably like 10, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, whatever. Go with a friend, walk your dog, do something that, makes you happy about it, but stay committed. And then get into the strength training. Strength training 2 times a week if you can, every other day, every other 2 days. And it doesn't have to be long. It could be 20 minutes. It's, that's no big deal. And then always throw in stretching. Stretching before you go walking, stretching before, or if you don't have the time to warm up or whatever, make sure you stretch after your sessions, for sure, always, because then you're not going to be as sore from your workouts. So I always tell them cardio, strength, flexibility. Those are my 3 go-tos. Flexibility, you could also do it with yoga or Pilates because that focuses a lot on the core, your stomach, your back, your abdominals. I mean, all those are super important to keep strong, keep you from pain.
Yes, and just a quick plug. So if you want to get started easy on that, you can go to our YouTube page, which is Positive Choice Integrative Wellness, or you can always just go to our main website, which is positivechoice.org. And Norma has everything you need on there. So she has a senior strength class. It's 20 minutes, and she utilizes all kinds of stuff. She'll utilize the chair. She'll get you down on the floor sometimes. Don't be scared.
Yep.
And then there's the 45-minute simple yoga class. So if you're really not knowing where to start, just go to our YouTube channel and start with Norma's classes.
And you know what? They're free. That's the thing. My gosh. And they're at your convenience. They're right there for you. So you can do this anytime you want. This is what I tell people. It's like, okay, well, the gym is closed or I don't want to go to the gym. You don't have to. You could be in your own home, in your own room. I do personal training sessions as well here. I do virtual sessions. We just started opening up with seeing one-on-ones, and I'm okay with that. But you have got so much that, I mean, I don't even know why you're not just clamoring to all get in here. So you can do the sessions virtually, or you can check out the exercise videos. Yeah, just plug them in. If you like that one, great, go to another one. Or if you just really like a certain one, then just stay with that one. But there's so many to switch. And then you'll start seeing and move on up to our other videos too, with Melanie and Anneliese and Sophie and Colleen. We got tons.
And another thing I think that's great with our videos too is if you're doing it, you get halfway through the video, ooh, I'm pooped, and it's only been, let's say, 10 minutes, you can just pause it.
Turn it
You
off.
can just stop.
Yep.
That's the best part. You can stop whenever you want to and then pick back up later or do it a different day and split it up over 2 days. Like, that's the best part about videos. You don't have to worry about someone being in the room going, hey, why aren't you doing this? Which we don't do, but that's the best part, I think.
Right, absolutely. At your own pace, definitely. But they are there. There is just no question there why you should not be able to do this. Take your pick, lots of them.
Yeah. So I guess what would be your biggest tip or recommendation for anyone who's looking just to get started from your perspective? Like, what would be the best for them? Let's say they're like, I'm not committed to a class yet. I want to get started. I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go. What would be your recommendation?
Call me. Let's talk.
She's putting it out there. There's the phone sign. She's ready.
And we'll put the link in all of the information here. So if you want to work with Norma, call Norma. She will happily talk to you and give you some advice.
Well, exactly. Yeah. I mean, there's nothing wrong with just chatting with someone and just saying, look, this is what's going on with me. And I'm going, okay, well, why don't we try this or that? You know, lots of things. Some things, again, you can do on your own is you go somewhere, park farther away, just take a little walk. Again, hook up with a friend. You get to talk and chat with them. You walk. Give us a call. That's really big. Is just give us a call. I can, direct you to our exercise videos. You don't have to just sit around hoping that you could get up and do something. We've got instruction for you. We can help you.
Yeah, and fitness is like a pretty big commitment. I would say it's. You really have to make it at the top 3 of your priority list.
Absolutely.
Because, and I know a lot of people go out there and go, well, like work, family, friends, life, etc. They can list their priorities in order easily, most likely, and fitness usually doesn't make the top 3. So to really want to make a change and really want to make a difference in your life, you kind of have to rearrange your life to accommodate fitness as a number 1 priority in your life. And it really should be, because even if your diet isn't on point, fitness is what's going to keep you alive and healthy and well and improve the quality of your life from now until whenever.
That's really big. It's how you want to feel. A lot of us have grandchildren, and I have come to find out that I play with my grandchildren. I get down with my grandchildren. I still pick them up. They want, hold me. I got a 9-year-old. Hold me. Holy mackerel, you're pushing it, buddy. But you know what? I owe it all to my years of fitness that I'm able to do this. And they are absolutely thrilled about it, and they don't even think anything of it. Although when they leave, I'm exhausted. But so for those of us who have the grandchildren who still want to go out and and have fun with sports or dancing or socializing, and think of the quality of your life, like Melanie said. If you're not moving, then how do you expect your body to do those extracurricular things for you? So
I have one more serious question, Norma.
Oh gosh.
So that 9-year-old, do you pick the 9-year-old up?
I do.
You press him over your head?
I don't put him over the head, but let me tell you, I do pick him up and I tell him, this is it, bud. 10. I don't know if we're going to do this at 10, but while I still have the strength. And see, and that's the thing, is like, remember, I've got this issue with my back, but I am more so very careful. Even the way I pick them up, I'm very, very careful. Everyone around me, Mom, don't do that. And I'm like, I think I can still do this. I'll know when.
And that's the important part about exercising at any age, but especially as we get older, because the point of exercising is to make our lives easier.
Yeah.
So if you want to keep playing with the grandkids, if you want to keep being independent by carrying your own groceries out to your car,
absolutely,
we got to put that time in to maintain those functional skills.
Right, yeah. That's a good point, is your daily activities. I use this a lot in my classes. I do the arm overhead because I go, imagine you're putting blankets up in your shelves. Imagine you're putting your plates up on the shelves. My mom, towards the end of her life, my mom had to put the dishes on the counter because she couldn't reach up anymore. So her shoulders were that tight. And I tell people stories, about that. I have a dad who, again, recently passed away. He was 89. He was still picking the fruit off the trees on the ladder. He was still building his palapa outside. I mean, very, very, very active. So there you have, two different ones. But I see this, as you get older. So your quality of life, what do you want to do? I have a father-in-law who's 92, and he just sits in a chair and watches TV, and he's never exercised, I don't think, a day in his life. But it's sometimes it's heartbreaking to see that in someone's life. Some people are not having a good time anymore, and yet some people are having the time of their lives, and this is their time. So that's kind of where I want to be, and that's what I try to motivate people to do when I get to see them, is let's make your life super, super cool. Let's make it fun for you. And whatever part that you're in right now, let's just work it.
I love that. I think that's a great thing to kind of like wrap up, be fit and move so that you can enjoy your life more.
Absolutely. Yep.
And it sounds like, Norma, the recommendation to take away today is get moving every day, whether it's walking, some kind of cardio every day.
Yes.
And then find out some way to work on your strength, work on your flexibility, whether it's working with our online videos or if you need some more guidance, we are here.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Phone call away. Yes.
That's right. Well, Norma, you have been such an amazing guest. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Do you think you'll come back?
Oh, anytime.
Yes.
I love doing what I do.
We can just walk over to your desk and make you come back. So, I mean, it's pretty easy, but...
Yes. I always love company.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, thank you everyone for joining us today, and we hope that you have a wonderful week, a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll see you next time.
Until next time.
Bye.